Oh, look, Dan's reviewing another Witchfinder book. Oh, God, what the fuck? Yes, today we're reviewing the fourth installment in this wacky misadventures book of the comedian Sir Edward Grey. It's pretty late at night when I'm recording this. You'll probably notice I don't have the white background up. Just trying that out. It's not that it was lazy. I legitimately made the decision to not put it up this time to see how it would look. If you think it looks disgusting in comparison to before, let me know. If you think it looks disgusting because you're a pretentious prick, still let me know, I guess. I like the viewer interaction. Alright, today we are doing Witchfinder Vol.4, the City of the Dead. Which is fun, because I have this both, well, in trade paperback, but I also have it in single issues. Woohoo! This is actually one of the first books that I collected. Sorry, the mic is that I collected in single issues. It came out basically around the time I started collecting, maybe a few weeks after I started. So that's nice. This book means a lot to me just in that regard. And is also one of my favorite books in the series. Even though there's only 4 books, it's kind of hard for me to be like, this is so high up in the ranks. Ugh. I mean, like, it's still. We're going back to the original artist in Volume 1, Ben Stenbeck, who I believe now is working on Baltimore, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I guess just Baltimore. So we got Mike Mignola, Chris Roberson, who's now, Mike Mignola was very impressed, apparently, with his work on this book, and put him in charge of the series in a long-term capacity, according to Wikipedia. And then we also got Ben Stenbeck and Michelle Madsen, who's on colors. I tried looking her up on Twitter. I could not find her. I found somebody named Michelle Madsen, but she seemed to be like a fashion designer, so I don't think it's the same person. God damn it, beep. Well, that shouldn't be going off anymore. I hate that thing. The dreaded beep that I always forget to turn off. Ruining my life. I would never crush this book. But one thing I want to point out about this cover, you see like that weird, I don't know what the hell that is. It's some like texture. I guess it's part of the artwork though, but like in all the promo art I've seen, that texture wasn't there, so it must have been added in later on. Or maybe it was just the promo art was a bad resolution or didn't have enough color depth or something. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so where to begin with this book? Well, I don't know. Well, if you remember, let's bring out Volume 1 to kind of compare the art. You'll see it's very similar, but also a little bit different from Volume 1. Well, first off, Volume 1 is a hardcore noir, and while this book kind of brings back a lot more of the noir style elements just through Stenbeck's artwork, this book's more of like a, it's more of like a what the hell's the X-Files term? Creature of the week, I guess. Creature feature. I don't know if you want to say that. Deals more with, well, this guy who if you've read Hellboy, or I'm assuming I think he shows up again in either BPRD. Yeah, definitely BPRD. It's the vampire Girishu. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Girishu. Girishu. And this is Sir Edward tracking him in the cities of London and stuff. And Girishu is doing his huge plan of trying to take over the world via turning all of the dead into vampires, so they come up. So if you remember, I think I've had to re-record this, so I'm not sure if I mentioned this in something I re-recorded, but regardless, in Volume 2 we dealt with zombies, but they were actually straight up zombies created by witches. This is dealing with a different kind of zombies, and they're vampire zombies. So I actually showed the page already once, but this is supposed to be pretty shocking. Yeah, the guy gets up off the table and is a zombie. But yeah, and it's pretty cool. I like how there's kind of different distinctions of what zombies are in this universe. And then there's more zombies later and stuff like that. And yeah, so what the hell was I just talking about? Yeah, it brings back more of the noir kind of stuff. But Also introduces the creature feature. So I like this pretty much like on par with the first book. Also narratively, Chris Roberson's writing is a bit different from the first book, but also the same. Mainly it's actually more akin to like volume 2. And the only reason I'm really drawing comparisons to the first book is that this is probably like the only book so far that's actually remotely even similar to the first book. Something I love about the Witchfinder series. But the dialogue in the first book, Mike Mignola likes to, and this is I'm glad they only did this in the original book, but like he randomly puts in the text Witchfinder in places. The idea being either that people are talking about it, or arguably, one of my little tinfoil hat conspiracy theories is that it's the angels that he's in the service of saying it. And they kind of throw that in everywhere. So it's a very like obvious narrative. That's not very visible. And by visible, I mean like when you read it, you realize that the book is trying to remind you that non-diegetic stuff is happening. That's a film term, I guess. I don't know if diegetic basically means stuff that's happening within the story. So like if you heard music in a film, but you knew it wasn't actually happening in the scene, instead it was just like a soundtrack, that would be extra diegetic. But this doesn't do a whole lot of that. There's a lot of him writing in his either, I think it's his letter to the Queen. But other than that, they don't really do a whole lot of that sort of thing. And that's a lot more akin to like what the volume 2 and 3 are. Let's see. We get to see more Miss Goad in this book. We actually get to kind of get more of her as a character. I'm not sure she shows up in any other Hellboy universe titles, but in this book in particular, while she's been a little bit in the other books, this one she particularly gets some more screen time. I'm such a movie buff. I don't know. She decides to go on a little mini adventure with Sir Edward, and it's pretty. I like the kind of comparison they draw with her. She's very tiny, and carries around a little purse, and she has like little things for like dry cleaning and stuff. But she's pretty fearless. She goes like deep down into this dungeon and is like, I don't care, whatever. It's nothing. Like you can see how they're clearly trying to make the size comparison, but they put them pretty much as equals. And it's pretty cool. I like it when books try to, introduce female characters, but not in like a very shoehorned in way. They actually did a lot to develop her character in this, which is something really great, and I appreciate that. What else was I going to talk about? This is actually my favorite image in the whole book, when he turns around and the big bat standing there. And the way they make Girishu move in this is really cool. Girishu, I guess. I'm going to call him Girishu. There's a spelling. Girishu. I'm assuming that's the way it's spelled. I like how they really amped up on his speed, though. Like, he can basically just, like, warp around. That's really cool. And it's something that I find, like, when I think... I'm not sure if I already brought this up. I'm always thinking about if I was to adapt something into a film, how would it work shot-wise and stuff like that. It's just sort of the thing I think about all the time. And I was thinking about this book, and I thought that would just be really cool looking to animate or something like that. Just to have him go whoosh and like instantly be up on there. It's such a cool image in my head. And this is like my favorite scene in the whole book. It's very quick. But just like the lighting and the art in it is so cool. And then vampire stuff happens. But this is definitely one of my favorite books in the series. I had to get it in trade because it has all the stuff at the end. Has all this stuff. Oh yeah, and this guy shows up too. Hold on a second. What is it? Volume. Hold up. Never mind. Sorry for the jump cut. I thought he was in Hellboy and the BPRD at some point, vaguely in my head, but he wasn't. Regardless, I'm not sure if this book is setting up the sequel in the end to this. It definitely setting something up, but I'm not sure if it's a sequel to this book or if it's setting up like other plot points in the Hellboy universe. Luckily, I don't think that if it was trying to set up other things in the Hellboy universe, I didn't need to know that. And I would much rather, if it's tying in with something, to just reveal that at the end, like in the last few pages, rather than make the whole book around it. Because I don't know, that's one of the cool things I've said a bunch of times about the Witchfinder books, that you can read them standalone. Really don't need much context at all, other than maybe the third book. I still haven't looked into that. That might be something that ties in with Ape Sapien. I've read a little bit about it today, not a whole lot, and the wording of this thing I was reading vaguely led me to believe that you had to read something from Ape Sapien. But I will read Ape Sapien. That's probably my next on the list thing to words. But yeah, so yeah, I love this book. I've actually, in the future, if I ever had money, I would possibly consider commissioning something from Ben Stenbeck, because he's a great artist. And I actually want to read Baltimore now. It's not Hellboy canon. There's a sale going on next week, though, at my store, and I saw an already discounted book of Baltimore, and I might pick that up. So, yep. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about with this? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, and the little icon on the bottom is Lilliput. I don't know why they put that here, though. That's got to be some symbolism, man. That's very random. Because I reckon this is a thing from Volume 1. I don't know if I don't know if Chris Roberson was involved in putting that on the back. But if he was, or maybe it was Mike Mignola, I don't know, that might be a little bit of symbolism, I don't know. Or it could just be like that was a thing that happened, so we put it on the back. I don't know how well thought out these things are. If it were up to me, I would have just kept the flower on all of the books. I feel like that's a really strong image for the Witchfinder book, but I do like the Lilliput cow. I love that. Cool. I have no idea what I'm going to review next. Probably Hellboy and the BPRD. I'm thinking, because I have all those books, so that would be pretty easy for me to review. And then after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about Ape Sapien, because that's a lot of books I need to buy. I'm avoiding BPRD intentionally for a little bit, because I have to figure out how I'm going to take care of that, because I don't have any of the books physical. I'm going to check with my local library to see if they have them available to check out. I don't know if my local library has many comic books. If they randomly do have any volumes of Ape Sapien, I'm going to try to check those out. Or, well, I guess Ape Sapien too, but BPRD. I do want to review all of BPRD before The Devil You Know starts, but I have a few months to do that. That starts the end of July, so we got plenty of time, but not really, because that's only... Shit, that's like... Yeah, that's 3 months from now. Fuck, that's not a lot of time, actually. Well, I'll figure it out. Goodbye.